Hello and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Hey,
Hello.
thanks for having us.
Hello. Of course, anytime.
How are you guys doing today? Oh, wow,
Hanging in
that's
there.
great. You guys just
Hanging in there.
where's the
Is it
energy?
you almost teared up when you asked that? uh,
Yeah.
it's been a
My
week.
dad, my dad called me after he called me after listening to last week's podcast, and he was like, "Are you okay?" Like, I was like, "Dad, I was like, fine, yeah." Anyway, it was nice. But yeah. So it's good to see you guys. Yeah. Okay.
And
Sorry.
you.
I got.
Yeah.
How,
What's been happening, Tice? We're here. Let's
let me
vent.
talk
Let's
about
have
my.
a
Let
vent
me talk.
sesh.
Let's talk about my day today because it was fascinating.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So today started early for me. I had to drop off our Subaru Forester 2015
Uh-huh.
at the dealership because a bunch of lights came on, and it was
Oh
like,
shit.
that's weird. And so anyway, I took it down there, and they were nice enough to give me a ride back because I had already called an Uber. Great,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So, I'm gonna keep this under 10 minutes, I promise. And so yeah, 10 minutes.
We're timing you. It's fine.
Yeah, you're all like everyone at
We
home is like,
each get 10
You're on the
minutes to
clock.
vent, all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
everyone is like fast forwarding 10 minutes in
Actually.
the broadcast right now. Uh, yeah, but
Better
yeah,
not.
so
Better fucking
dropped
not.
dropped off the car this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I got a ride home, which was great. And then I went to meet with a CPA because Beth, as you know, is co-owner of an LLC, which is like the most confusing thing if you're trying to use TurboTax to do your taxes. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, I mean, it's ludicrously bad. I was telling her the story that like somehow the first year I managed to make it through, and and I was so worried we are gonna get audited. And then the next year I went straight to H&R Block because I was like, I'm not doing this shit again. And
Mm-hmm.
H&R Block, one of their services, they check and they're like, oh, we'll check your last year's taxes. They looked at it and they're like, okay, that's fine, you did fine. I'm like, amazing. Somehow, I don't know. Anyway, so I went because the car was in the shop. Took an Uber to the CPA's office. Got there, wrong address. Had to walk half a mile to they had moved offices, so I had to walk half a mile to where they were now. Got there, the CPA herself was working from home that day, and she thought we were having a phone call and not an in-person meeting. So we took a phone call from her office, and she was at home. Um, so I was like, meow. I was like, okay, well, I was like, whatever, it's still fine. Because she was like, do you want to go home? I'm like, no. I was like, I took the day off to do all this stuff. So talked to her, she was great. So that was great.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was one in the good pile right there. Boom. So got home. Now I haven't talked about this yet, but Beth has officially announced that she has breast cancer and she's getting man, sorry. I don't even. The term
A
escapes me, but
boobiectomy,
a boobectomy.
mastectomy.
She's getting both her boobs removed, and but it's all good. Like they caught it so early, it's stage 0, so that's amazing, right? Like
It's awesome.
right out the gate,
Yep.
right? So that's good, and and then and then so anyway, we had a call with our granddaughter a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Once her mother explained to her. And then her mother explained to her that, like sometimes when you're making a recipe, sometimes if you mess up the recipe, it's okay. But sometimes you mess up the recipe, it's really bad and you have to throw out the whole thing and start over. And she was like, her recipe's really messed up. So they have to start over or they have to,
Mm-hmm.
throw out the dish or whatever, which I thought was pretty clever, of
Yeah.
Brie, yeah. And in the middle of that conversation, her two little cousins came into their little unit in their compound that they live in, and And she turns around and goes, Pebbles is getting her boobies chopped off. Just yeah. And so we were laughing. I was like, well, that's gonna have to be a follow up question, obviously, for Bree and the kids, but whatever. So anyway, it's she's having surgery on the 31st, which is good.
Uh-huh.
It's We're just going all in on this thing. She's gonna dress herself up as a patient, which I thought was very clever,
That
and
is.
we're going to just have a good time. Came out today. She got a call while I was at the CPA's office that she has a thing, and so she has to get her ovaries and her tubes removed as well. So, um, so, so anyway, she called right away and she was like, "Can we do this all at one time?" Because that's not unusual, I guess, in the medical field to have. Because it's not as invasive. It's like getting a gallbladder removed. They can just make
Yeah.
two little incisions and they kind of
And
do it.
just, yeah.
Of course not. So they're going to be a second surgery. So that sucks. But
Oh
she's
my
handling.
God.
But this thing that she has means that her daughters probably have the same. It's called a BRCA2, and
Uh-huh.
basically what that means is that you are at high risk for breast cancer and ovarian cancer. So she has to figure out how she's going to tell her kids. I hope they don't listen to this. They probably won't because we cuss so fucking much. Fuck, 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 fuck. Stop listening. Fuck. Anyway,
That's not how
so
kids work, Tyson.
No, they love it. I'm like, when I was a kid, I couldn't get enough of it.
But I don't think the kids listen to it. But anyway, so there's that, and so
Jesus Christ.
she's really freaking out about it. So anyway, get a call from the dealership, and it turns out there's a sensor that's fucked up in our car, but it's still under warranty. That's great. Now our horn doesn't work, and the guy's like, to fix your horn, it's going to cost $900. And I was
What?
and I said, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that because and I called him back and I said, about the horn, don't fix it. I was like, listen, we can convey our upsetness, our anger to other drivers using hand signals and not the horn. So
Very
we'll be
good.
fine.
Very
Yeah.
good.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, so that was kind of good news. That's going to be covered. But so anyway, we had a dog scare. So she took the dog yesterday. One of the dogs, Hayden, to the vet. She left her wallet there, so I had to drive down and pick up the wallet. And because I've been driving my car, right? Whatever, we have a second car, and hey, two car family. Anyway, so
I'm
I got
jealous.
down there, and the woman goes, "Just before I give you this wallet, what's her birthday?" And the first thing I said was, "Is this a husband test? Is this a bad husband test? What's going on?" And she looked at me like she had no idea what I was talking about. And I said, "It's totally, it's 213." And she's like, "Yeah, that's fine." Drove back, went to a chiropractor. First time I've ever been to this chiropractor, Dr. Tran, and he passed
Uh-huh.
my test. He passed my test as far as like I'd never met him before, but I always test certain people that I'm going to be working with to see if they're cool or not. And so what happened today was I got an X-ray on my lower back, and because I have weird back problems, and as soon as he clipped it on, I went, "Ouch, my sperm!" And and, and he laughed, and I was like, "Okay, you passed the test. You're fine. That's good."
God
Uh,
damn it. Poor bastard.
so anyway, so that was okay, and then we went to get. So this is why I'm late. I'm sorry, guys, but Beth really wanted me to go and get a pedicure with her, and so I went and got a pedicure
Yeah,
with
you
her.
win again?
I
All
went again.
right.
I'm gold
Oh wow.
sparkles this time. Gold,
Wow.
not silver sparkles. Um,
You are into it, sir.
I'm in it to sparkle it, apparently.
There's
So
something really lovely about a good pedicure. I'm not going to lie. Smith,
it
get
would,
on it.
yeah.
You'll
I
love
mean,
it.
to be honest, take Kathy, and it's just kind of fun and stupid, and but it feels
Did you
good.
guys hold hands the whole time you were doing it, Tice?
Oh my God, no! She was chatting up the dude that was doing her feet. She was, she was, she was all about it. She was like, and the guy's like, the first thing she said, well, I got to get my toes done because I got going in for breast surgery, and then this is her like line that she tells everyone. She goes,
Hmm.
"Sorry, these things are trying to kill me, so I'm fucking getting rid of them. Anyone in my life that's trying to kill me, I'm getting rid of those things." And so, so that sets a nice
It's a
expectation
good
there
motto
for.
to have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. If somebody's trying to kill you, fucking get rid of them.
Yeah.
But and then the guy was like, when they were talking, and then I was like, "Hey, honey, you need to set your lineup tonight because the game's coming up." And the guy was like, "You play fantasy football?" I mean, he he probably he probably was having the best day of his life at work because everyone else around us was talking about weddings and all the shit that they're getting pedicures for, and Beth's like, fucking, Tua Goa, and all this shit, and I was like, all right, whatever. And so anyway, so the day ended in a positive column as opposed to a negative column. As far as I'm concerned, we did lose a horn, but we do know how to do this and the blinking these, which
This is way more fun.
it is, well, it's way
Or
more fun, but
or an arm, like a
you,
strong arm, like you
you
motherfucker. Like, yeah.
you may not be able to see it all the time, but if I don't know if you guys watch this, but especially in traffic when I see somebody cut somebody off or do some dickish move, all I can do is just watch the person that they did that to and wait to see how they respond because that's just like
Yeah.
it's like Springer in real life, like Jerry Springer in real life. It's like it's fucking great. So really enjoyed. I really enjoy that. So anyway, yeah. So we'll just do this, and I guess roll down the window at somebody who's not moving on a green light and just yell at them, which they can't hear anyway. But so yeah, it was a full day for me. I
That sounds
started
like it. Well,
Yeah.
started very
we
early,
Way
and
too much.
we appreciate you making the time for us this
We
evening.
really do. I feel like an asshole now.
Really,
Like,
I know.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So no, the other thing that I didn't tell you is that her daughter, one of Beth's daughter's dog, who is part pit bull, uh, lives side by side with his cat for years, and grabbed the cat's head with its mouth and shook the cat around like that. And so she had to. So they
oh,
were in the emergency room, the emergency
Oh,
doctor, and so that was a thing. And a lot of times we have to help pay for that, but they got some money through some other different things. And so anyway, which is fine. I mean, we don't. Anyway, but if you have a pit bull and it bites your cat's head, I mean,
it could also do the same to your child. That
that's
would be my takeaway from that. It would also do the same for your child. So yes.
that,
yeah.
Uh, oh
so.
God, that's terrible. Holy crap.
God, that's scary as hell. Oh my
But
God.
I will say that my favorite part of the day was when I yelled "ow, my sperm," and the doctor didn't fire me immediately. So
I'm glad
that was,
you had that Tyson-y moment in the
I,
midst of all this
Right.
craziness. Yeah.
Right.
it was nice. Yeah, it really was. So that was my day. So anyway, to wrap it up, we don't know when her surgery is going to be, her second surgery is going to be, but it's going to be after the first one.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, recovery time with the first one, how long is that going to take?
4 to 6 weeks. So it's
Okay.
on the 31st. But if she doesn't have it this year, we're going to have to pay all the copays and out-of-pocket expenses again next year. So we have to make sure that she gets it done.
Done
I'm
this
going.
year. Yeah.
I'm going to 4 different doctors this week. I've been to 2 so far, just because all of our copay is gone. So I'm just. It's all free
Yeah.
now. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
let's just. I had a problem with my shoulder. I got a cyst. I got Dr. Pimple Popper. You familiar with that terrible thing? That's a
Yeah.
thing. I got one
Yeah.
of those on my back, and it's on my spine. And I've just been putting off dealing with it because they're gonna have to put me in surgery to do it. And so I'm like, what? Let's get into that surgery room, like like what December 1st? Let's go. Let's get that grossness out of my body before. But the problem is when they do that, what happens is there's this big hole in your back, and they put gauze and shit in the back, and it has to
Right.
be cleaned. It has to be cleaned.
Right.
Have you watched a lot of Pimple Popper, young lady?
I have watched a lot of Pimple Popper, and when I had my appendix out and then they screwed up and then I had to go in for second surgery, I had an open incision for
Mm.
2 weeks. And so they had to keep it clean. So I'm very familiar with that process.
yeah, so so like I have to time that in between her first surgery and her second surgery. You know what I mean? Like
Oh my god, you
so if I can't figure it out when we're going to the
this is
hospital,
what I'm doing to the universe right now.
uh,
Really? Really? Sorry. Ugh, god.
and
Sorry,
so like
guys.
that's fine.
Sucks.
So anyway, so like if I can't make sure that she can deal with it in between surgeries, I'm just not. I'll just wait another year until or 2 years or whatever,
Right.
because it's not important. You know, I have this thing on my back. I think when you guys were here, I was like feeling around my back. I was like, I think it's gone, and I don't know. You guys, we were drunk anyway. But
Yeah.
but then
Sorry.
I got home and Beth was like, yeah, it's still there. That's like, but it feels smaller. She's like, it's not smaller. I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, uh, whatevs. So anyway, yeah. So it's been a kind of weird day. They did say that we could get a loaner, but I didn't have time to go get it today. So yeah, I don't know. But again,
What
we don't
kind
have
of
to pay.
loaner are you gonna get? Like a little Maserati or something?
That
Hmm?
would be great. I would like to
Yeah.
get a 1992 Miata, and just tool around. No,
That'd be fun. I always wanted a Miata, to be honest.
yeah, the poor man's convertible, the Miata. I think well, they drove me home in a from the dealership in a 2021 Outback, which was way nicer than the 2025 Forester. I was
We
like,
have one. It's great. Yeah.
yeah,
Love
it's
it.
wow. Yeah, I was like the I guess all the display features are huge now and all new
Hmm.
cars. It's like
Yep.
so, which your mileage may vary on how well you deal with that while driving the road, but whatever. So I don't know what they're going to give us, but I do know. I told her, I said, we can't put the dogs in there because then we're going to hit with like a $300 cleaning bill. If they and
Oh.
what if they chew a headrest like one of our dogs did on our car? Like so.
Yeah.
It'll still be nice to have a car, but and my car doesn't have.
Air conditioning, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have air conditioning. It wouldn't start this morning when I tried to. So I had to call roadside assistance to get a jump. Um, but that was cheap and easy, so that was fine. So yeah. So anyway, that's my whole day. I'm done venting. And all these people like Sally and a bunch. Sally works for Beth now, full time, and she is trying to organize like meals to be sent to our house for the breast cancer stuff, so we don't have to do a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff. So she's like, "Well, what do you think you want?" And I'm like, "I would like Papa Murphy's and Popeye's chicken." And I was like, "I have no idea what Beth wants." so, so Beth,
You asked, I told you.
yeah, yeah,
So
and Beth, when I got back from the CPA, she's like, "I told Sally I didn't want any Papa Murphy's or Popeyes," and I'm like, "But that's what I want. This is a Tyson thing." Um,
Tyson. Jeez.
I know. So we'll see what shows up. Who knows? Anyway, I know we're gonna get a lasagna. Don't like lasagna at all, but and the
What's your
problem
beef
with
with lasagna? It's
I don't
delicious.
know. I don't know.
Eh,
It's a casserole, and I don't like casseroles. I mean, it's essentially
That's fair. I
And
feel
wait,
like my
do you
parents overdid the
like
casseroles.
spaghetti, or like bolognese sauce? I mean,
no. I mean, I like all the components.
That's a
I
jam.
like the idea of it, but the problem is that whenever you can slice out a chunk of food that's not cake, I'm not into that. Like that's not my
My
thing.
God.
interesting. Hmm. I think we're onto something. That's so bad. That's interesting. So there's no exceptions to this because there's so many excellent dishes like moussaka,
Pass.
um, uh, kind of, and
What?
well, there's any casseroles. So you're very anti-casserole in general.
Yeah, because I like to eat my food separately. I don't really like it mixed. Even pizza.
Pizza. That's
Oh,
kind of the
Yeah, but I
oh,
mean,
same.
that's a good point.
but there are some things about pizza that you can guarantee you're gonna get. First off, the cheese is separated from the bread. I like that. I like how the toppings you can pick. I also like how the sauce is at a minimum, or it's not a lot of sauce. I like that.
Oh,
So
you're not a deep dish guy. I forgot.
I,
right?
you know, I only am when I'm in Chicago and Matt and Kathy are buying. That's really the only time. But but,
I
but
mean, had I known about your general bias of cat, because I see deep dish comes awfully damn close to casserole. Like, I mean,
it does,
Very much so.
it's
it
pretty
does.
adjacent. So I
Yeah.
mean, I appreciate. I don't get it, but I appreciate your consistency. I like that. That's
It's
uh,
hard, my 46 years in life, it's hard to find a balance between, what I don't like and what I do like
yeah.
and where I'm willing to cross the line. And a lot of times it's whether someone else is buying it. And so,
Jesus Christ.
so anyway, we're going to get a casserole. Or sorry, we're going to get a, sorry, we're going to get a,
We get a
we're going to get
lasagna.
a, we're going to get a
Oh, I
lasagna.
love it.
Lasagna.
Tyson wants lasagna, tater tot casserole, a little green bean casserole,
Oh
perhaps,
no, any,
tuna casserole.
I was reading this article about how, like, in the Midwest, everything's called a salad, like, like a green bean salad, or like a rutabaga salad, or and these are not salads. There's no
Jello
lettuce.
salad.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they're just a mix of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, that is clearly not a salad. It was from this website. It was, no, it's a Twitter feed, and it's called Mid local. I'm going to say this wrong, but it's something along the lines of local specialty foods, and they showed this, which are really almost all of them I saw was just like a hamburger or something, poured shit on top of it and more shit on top of it until I was just.
I read the same
Did
exact
you
article.
know what I'm
Yeah, I
talking
did.
about?
Yeah, I did. Oh baby, anything about the Midwest and food, I'm in. I'm like, hell's yeah. Love reading this.
and, the only thing I saw in there that looked like something I would eat was something called Snickers salad. I think it was what it was
It
called.
was called a Snickers salad. Yeah.
And it was popcorn with draped with piece chunks of Snickers in it, and then like caramel sauce on top of it.
Oh,
It's like
that
a
sounds
dessert.
delicious.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a
that sounds
dessert,
great.
but they call
Yeah.
it a salad, and people were like, "How is this a salad?" And they don't know that we just call those things salads.
Yeah, it's just
Which always, and that's funny. I never really thought it. Maybe, but
I never did either.
as a child,
Yeah.
I was very confused by that whole thing because I was like,
Yeah.
like salad, like meant to me lettuce and maybe some stuff to throw on that lettuce. But then
Yeah.
you got Jello involved, and then there were all kinds of weird sort of things that got referred to as salad. A lot of the mayonnaise based. Not a fan of
Oh
mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
actually
Oh, really?
afraid
You
of
don't
man.
like mayo?
Oh, I'm afraid of
I'm
mayonnaise. I'm
not
I'm like
crazy about mayo either.
legitimately afraid of mayonnaise. No,
That's
I
fair.
can't. Oh,
Why?
oh.
What happened? What did mayonnaise do to you as a
It's
child?
I don't. It's so I have a like I don't know. It's something about it. I think it's like because I know how it's made, and I know it's just like eggs and but like I don't know. I don't know. I just I can't take it
I'm,
on. I,
I'm
and the
with
weird
you.
thing is,
I love
like
it.
a
More for me.
little,
I'm
and
okay
like
with
a
that.
little tiny bit, like I'm okay with. Like if there's a little tiny, here's where I think I was wronged. Was like I can't. I mean, I'm going to generalize the experience, but into a narrative. But I think like it was like biting into like a Burger King chicken sandwich, like the OG
Oh,
ones, which were the long ones,
oh,
and
Oh,
then
come
just
on,
like
man.
having
yeah.
the back of my throat squirted with this just gelatinous grossness. I think that's where the fear came from. Like I think it was the
Yeah.
over.
That's probably it.
It was the two. I have two food phobias. The other big tomato juice, which I'm still not. I'm
Mm.
don't like tomato juice, but love tomato sauce. Don't get
Yeah.
Yeah,
it.
me
I
too.
don't know.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
But
Huh.
and I don't like ketchup, and like Beth made chili,
I don't
and
really
she's
like
like,
ketchup either.
I don't really like chili unless if I like chili if there's a cinnamon roll involved and some crackers,
I was a
and I
little
just
disappointed to see that absent from the Midwest list. I really was. That was the one.
oh, true.
They
The
didn't include that? That's weird.
no, that was
That's a
because
mistake.
Actually, they did mention that in the article, like as a little throwaway line, but there was no pictures of that, like
oh, okay.
Mm.
Well, you know
you
me
know.
and reading. If there's no picture, it's just right over my head. So wow, well, we called that
Yeah,
on real time. Yeah.
I accidentally got some mayo on one of on the I don't know. I call it the Don Julio sandwich. I know that's not what it's called. It's the Vito sandwich or whatever
Papa
from
or Papa or not Papa.
uh, it's the Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jimmy John's.
and that's a Hellman mayonnaise. That's fine. Like Beth hates
Shout out to
mayo.
Jimmy John's.
Yeah,
They're
Beth
gonna be
hates
our
mayo,
fake
but
sponsor this week.
she hates mayo, but she loves Cool Whip, and she used to eat Cool Whip sandwiches, and I used to eat just this, the Campbell Soup's nacho cheese soup. You familiar with
Oh
this?
yes, oh absolutely. And in fact, I've
Love it,
dined
right?
on this many times with
Me
you.
too.
When you get
Yes.
to have a special evening with your cheese soup, yes.
So at our engagement party that my sister threw, there was a stack of Miracle Whip sandwiches. Just that's it. Just like 50 of them. Just Miracle Whip and bread. And then the other side was just a giant bowl of that nacho cheese soup with bags and bags of chips. It was like we were showcasing
Which
how terrible we would be if we had children in our
which
house.
which
It was
which
like
internment camp was this, Tyson? Where was this at?
this is this was at a party celebrating our marriage. So
Oh, okay, very good, very good. Okay.
so
Uh,
anyway,
it's weird.
Oh.
It's weird that you have a fondness for the which I believe in now. It maybe I think it's referred to as the Fiesta cheese soup, right?
yes, they
So
rebranded it.
I have been a long time. My favorite chili in the world was Campbell's chili soup,
Huh?
like the in the
I
can,
don't think I've ever had
small,
that.
condensed. It's probably because it was discontinued before you were born. Not quite, but it has been off the market for like 10 to 12 years. But like that is my sort of
Mm.
food, sort of, Maltese Falcon is like I have to like find like or get them to reintroduce it because it was called Fiesta Chili Beef in its
Mm.
later
Oh,
years in life, and it was the two combined made for just the most delectable nachos imaginable. And now it's like a sibling is gone, and
now
it's
she was a Velveeta person, and I never really got into Velveeta that much. Were you guys into Velveeta? That's
Love Velveeta. Every time my parents threw a party, they would get one of those small little crock pots and we would make dip. And it was basically ground hamburger beef, paste pecani sauce, and fucking Velveeta cheese, just melted, mixed together. Mm,
yeah. My
so
parents
good.
did
that
the
is
same thing with Rotel tomatoes. Was
Yeah,
the variation?
Patel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
They
yeah,
did that too.
yeah.
that
Delicious.
is that is high society Western Kansas right there.
It
That is
really was.
it
Yeah, it
was it,
was.
it really is.
I knew it was going to be a big party if we had that, honestly. My
I
brother
would.
and I
I
planned how
That
we were
is so
going to eat
weird that
it.
you like also associate positivity and general happiness with. Well, maybe I'm overblowing it myself anyway. Just with those parties and having those Velveeta cheese, those are
It's
good
true.
times. Those were
Those
good
were
times.
good
Yeah,
times.
because you
Yeah.
Yeah,
knew like shit was going down. Like if
You
like
yeah.
there was
knew. You
yeah.
knew they were trying to impress somebody. If you
Oh
saw like a tub of French onion like dip and potato chips,
oh
you're like,
absolutely.
it's fucking
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
Why
all
are we
we
even
had, like,
going to this?
if we like the only house like food that was in the house, like if we weren't having an event, like it was different. If we were having at a party or like
Yeah.
there was special
Yep.
occasion, we'd have junk food in the house. But other than that, it was like Snackwells. Like that's what we had in the house. Like with those
Yeah,
freaking like fat free Snackwells, like treats.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not good
Um,
for you, but
yeah. Oh yeah. We were just
because
afraid of fat in the '90s. Oh,
you eat a whole box of them, you're like, I'm feeling pretty good.
I know,
You know,
right?
doesn't really matter.
Uh,
Uh,
but, uh, Yeah, so if you
back
haven't
in
in
All
a
the
right.
while,
day.
the price has gone up a little bit, but break out the Velveeta. I think we need to bring this back. I think bring out the
Me
crock pot.
too.
The
Hell
kids will ask,
yeah.
"Hey, these kids are going to see the crock
Hey,
pot. They're
you
going to be
know
like,
what?
what's going on?"
Next time we all get together, let's fucking do that. Let's
I,
have a
I'm
party like we would have wanted to back when we were kids.
right.
All
We'll
right, well,
get the
we're
crock
having two
pots
cheese
going.
dips. We'll
Yeah.
get the Velveeta
All right.
version, and then
Yes.
we'll get the
Yes.
Nacho Fiesta version, and and then we'll have a fight over who can
And
keep
we'll
it
battle.
warm
Yeah, I
enough to
like
eat
it.
it.
Oh,
Excellent.
I like it.
I'm
All
gonna
that
eat so
shit in
much
the
of that.
microwave, it's like
Oh.
it's too cold, and then it's like it just cakes along the side of the little bowl, and the brown cheese, it just burns on the side of the bowl.
Mm,
And you're like,
It's a
son of a-"
struggle. It's a struggle.
It
it
is.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
the, the Battle of Velveeta,
The Battle of
1989.
Velveeta. Oh, speaking of burnt cheese, I heard a fun rumor about Oktoberfest and something that happened.
Oh,
Apparently, somebody at Taco Shop burnt the queso during
Oh,
Oktoberfest.
oh,
Ah!
I've done that.
wow.
It's
No, you
awful.
have not. Did you get
Yeah, I
fired?
have. I didn't get fired. I was an idiot. That was like my first day. I didn't get fired. I didn't even know what was going on. As you know, cleaning the queso tub, as you would call it,
Ugh.
cauldron of
Yeah.
queso is
The
basically what.
cauldron of queso is yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Very
the
true.
worst job you
Now,
could get.
I'm the audience may
Tough.
not be, but I'm fascinated about so. I want specifics on the cauldron itself. Like, is it like a self-contained like heating unit? Like, is it like a just a giant vat
It's
on a
a
stove?
giant stainless steel pot. That's
Okay,
how
okay,
many, like, what gallons, Tyson, would you
It
say?
was well, probably like maybe 5 or 10, something like that. And
okay,
then it would
okay.
it would fit inside another thing that had the water underneath it, like a
Yep.
boiled cheese
So
thing.
like a double
Pro-
boiler thing. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was
Okay.
a double boiler. Problem was, it was if you weren't on top of it, it would just cake along the
It could
side.
easily burn. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
easy. Yeah, so I mean, I feel bad for whoever did that, but I mean, I feel their pain a little bit.
You want to know a secret? It was
Sure.
Bob.
Oh wow.
You know what? Bob is
You
too
want to know
high up
something
on the pay
else?
grade.
Bob just celebrated his 30th birthday there. Bob, I love you.
His 30th anniversary.
Yes,
Yes.
I
Oh,
called
yeah.
it
Okay.
birthday, but anniversary,
That's fine.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He
Well,
was
good for Bob.
basically born into Taco Shop, so it's fine.
Hey,
Good
he
job,
was.
Bob.
Hey,
Bob was great to
He
me.
was the
Like,
best
have
boss
no
ever,
complaints.
honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
wow.
Just occasionally look at me and Marshall and just shake his head, and then they're like, "Go on to the next thing." Uh, it was
Same
pretty
with
great.
me. Same with me.
That's
The
basically the same
closest
look. Yeah.
the closest I ever came to getting fired was when I came to work after being at Oktoberfest all day, blitzed out of my mind, and then passed out in the back when I was supposed to be doing dishes. Still didn't get fired because Bob loved me. So thanks,
Look,
Bob.
it's a
Thanks.
family
Yeah.
there. There really
Yeah,
is.
it really is. Yeah, it's true. Oh
So,
man.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I
So
want
how
some
was
queso. I'm super distracted. I'm hungry.
we're
I know.
we're
Ugh.
having we're having ham and cheese squash inside squash tonight, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. Because
Sounds pretty good.
it's Gruyere cheese and a nice
Can't go
bit of
wrong with
ham.
that.
No,
Uh-huh.
So I mean, it's not my favorite, but whatever. I've never had it, so I don't know if it's my favorite. Maybe I'll love it. Maybe next week.
You'll love it. It's so good. I'm a big fan. You better love it.
We eat a lot of squash here at the house, so
It's good for you.
oh, tell me
Squash it
about it.
up.
It's also very carb heavy in a good carb way. So,
It's a good carb.
I just want to. So, do we need to talk? Do we need to talk about Dawson's cavity? Do you want to
Yeah, we
talk
do.
about it?
Because I would like to get your
Oh.
opinions on this.
I
Because
just
now
I
I'm wondering if I should get a second opinion.
oh
Because
shit.
that's a lot. That is a
Interesting.
lot to go. Okay, so for the listening audience, I'm having an issue. I'm having a problem with my mouth, apparently. I, long story short, went and got my last teeth cleaning like a year ago before we moved to Colorado. And then a couple days ago, I went and got my, or yesterday, whatever. Oh my God, work's sucking my soul. Anyway, I went and got my teeth cleaned at this new place that just opened up about 4 months ago. They have all of this new equipment and they were inside my mouth and they were using this new machine that essentially like goes underneath the enamel to detect cavities now, which I have never seen before. And I was like, holy shit, I'm screwed. Like this thing kept going off. Like, and then I go, whoa, that doesn't sound good. After she took the thing out of my mouth, she's like, well, it's not. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, we
What the
detected 9 cavities. I've never had a cavity in my life. I'm 39 years old. This was the first time like I'm hearing about this business. And so then she goes into this whole monologue about how and my dad told me about this. I was, it was unbeknownst to me, but he, when we were kids, got this fluoride treatment done on our teeth, which would essentially help us to like, wean off, like keep cavities at bay, basically. And so she said that the treatment is good, and it's not great in the fact that when you become an adult, those cavities still develop underneath the enamel, like the fluoride. And then if you don't take care of them, they mushroom and become a bigger problem. She's like, you've got like 9 of them. And I was like, okay, wait, I went to the dentist a year ago and it was fine. They said my mouth was great, blah, blah, blah. Like, this seems a little fishy, right? It's a
Absolutely,
new
it does.
place, right?
Oh, absolute bullshit. Yeah, it's pre-cavities. No, like the term cavity literally means like a hole or space. Like what they're talking about is like pre-cavities, but cavities don't
Yes.
work that way. Cavities don't come from the inside out. They come from
Yes,
stuff
yes,
on
yeah, yeah. No, no, they do. They do.
what?
Cavities are
For real?
genetic for the most part. Yeah, yeah, they do. I told you yesterday I've had more cavities than first dates in my life, and
He
that is
did.
true.
And I
And
felt sad. I'm still sad about that.
don't feel sad. You didn't say it was 9 cavities. You said it was a cavity. I clipped your thing and sent it to my family group, and we all made fun of you because of your
Okay.
concern.
Well, it's 9 cavities, Dinus family.
Dawson, I've never had a cavity either, so I'm with you. I'm
So, Smith,
no,
you know,
I've had a dentist explain this to me. He's like as Dyson said, there's a strong genetic disposition combined with fluoride, but it's not even most major metropolitan areas since the 80s have added fluoride to their water. So like that's I don't know. I would
I'm
get a second
smelling some
opinion.
bullshit. Yeah.
I'm smelling some bullshit. I think they got like some AI robot dentist thing, and it's just
I think they treated your teeth, and that was probably a bad idea back in the like in '90s or whenever it happened, right? For your
Yeah, I
fluoride
think it was the
treatment.
90s. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and so like they're like, you'll be fine. That's like sounds like a guy who doesn't want to pay any dentistry bills. That sounds like something my dad would have done if he knew it was possible.
But
So
how in the hell? I've been going consistently to the dentist every year for my life, like since I was a kid. And they didn't catch this until my 39th year. It seems a little fishy to
No,
me.
you gotta find a dentist
And
that
I'm
have
not
an
even sore. Like I don't
you
have any pain.
you gotta
you
find a
got you
dentist that doesn't have a waterfall in his office.
you got to
Then you'll
find a
get
Okay,
you'll get
dentist.
what's up.
that's
You
a
gotta
good point.
find like
Because I smell the paint.
semi shady. Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to find a
yes.
dentist that has equipment from the '80s and he's sticking with it.
All right,
Hey,
exactly.
I want that
Right,
guy. I
right.
want Les Ward back in my life.
Yeah, because that
Oh
Okay,
my!
robot
call your
dentist,
dad.
like somebody's got to pay for that robot dentist, and it sounds like it's going to be your mouth if you don't get a second opinion. So
I am
just
All
saying.
I
right,
am
so the consensus is get a second opinion. Tyson, do you agree with that or not? Or do you think I should just say fuck it
I am
and
not
get
saying
holes drilled into
I
my
am
teeth?
not saying shit because first off, I'm too biased. I'm so pissed off that either one of you have never had a cavity. I can't even. I had all my teeth capped at 4 because I broke a tooth eating a piece of toast. I have terrible fucking teeth. I've had 5 root canals, 3 on the same tooth because it took 3 times to fix it. Okay, I had braces for 7 years. I mean, I'm telling you
Ugh.
right now,
I had
I am not
braces for a long
you
time
don't
too.
want my
Sorry.
opinion about this. You don't want my opinion about this.
Apparently
Yeah,
not.
no, you don't. Because first off, I
Doodaloo.
just
Doodaloo, Tyson. Doodaloo.
yeah,
Doodaloo.
yeah, go get a second opinion. Do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever keeps your
I think
boat
you want me
floating.
to get holes drilled in my teeth and just take care of it.
Well, I mean, I do if that's what you need to do. I mean, if you have
But
cavities
that's my
underneath
point.
your
If I
enamel,
don't need to do it, then why do it? You
all
know?
right. Or you could just be kicking this cavity thing
Or I
down the
could just
road.
like get like like a prescription for a high fluoride toothpaste. Try
No,
that out for
that
6
that
months.
that, that doesn't work. That's not
No.
that's not a thing.
All right.
I have to go to the
That
dentist.
that was my doctor Googling last night when
My
I was,
my
like, going crazy.
my
It's
sister
like,
and
"No,
I have to
just
go
do
to the
that."
dentist 4 times a year for cleanings. Most people go once a year for cleanings. We have to go 4 times a year because our teeth are so fucked up. And
You have to
so,
go
like,
4 times?
yeah, 4 times every 3 months to get our teeth cleaned
Apparently,
because
the new standard is 2. Smith, were you aware of that?
The new standards
Every 6
too.
months every
Yeah,
6 months you're supposed to go.
yeah.
one
Yeah, I
time
didn't know
Matt,
that.
I just you guys, sorry. One time Matt said a tooth fell out of his mouth, and he was like, "I haven't been to the dentist in like 8 years, so I decided to go." And they were like, "Yeah, it's just fluoride. It built up on your tooth, and it just fell out of your mouth. Do you remember this,
Yeah, it
Matt?"
was. It was just like a chunk of like fluoride. It was
I
when I
mean,
first moved to Indianapolis. Yeah, it was like freaked the shit out of me. No, I was like downstairs taking a smoke break, and I was just
chunk
like, what the
tooth came out.
this chunk? And it was like, yeah, and it was on like it, it was like on the back side of one of my front teeth, so I just had sort of gotten used to it, so it
Right?
wasn't visible. But
It was like
I freaked the fuck out. Yeah, I forgot you were there today, but I was freaking the fuck like because I was like, holy shit, like my teeth are literally falling out of my mouth,
you
and
went, you got a cleaning, and they were like, "Your teeth are fine."
yeah,
Right?
she looked at it, she's
Yeah.
like, I don't, she's like, where do you think it fell out of? And I'm like, I don't like where. And it was just because you know that like you have this weird familiarity with your like the inside of your mouth,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
when something changes with that, it just like drives you absolutely bonkers,
Yeah,
or like it's just like
yeah.
what the hell. It was just a sort of a variant of that where I was just so used to how I was just used to that. It was a piece of me. It was a calcified piece of me.
I
Uh,
understand that. I
roughly
understand that.
roughly the size of a small tooth. Yeah. Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, go get a second opinion, but keep in mind that you're probably kicking the problem down the street. Now, if you would have said you had 9 cavities and they were your first cavities ever, I would have been a lot nicer to you on text. Sorry. I thought I was pretty nice. But I wrote a
no,
screed.
yeah,
Wrote a screed. I was like, first off,
you could
fuck you.
feel the
Second
venom.
off,
Yeah.
yeah, and then second off, I was like, first off, fuck you. Second off, fuck you, strong letter to follow. And I was talking to my dad just like 30 minutes after that, and he's like, "Did you text her? Fuck you, strong letter to follow." I was like, "I almost did, Dad. I almost did."
If
And
you did, I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, "Oh, well, pissed off Tyson again. What else is new?"
no,
But
yeah,
then,
well,
like,
yeah, for a genetic defect in my family, I got personally offended. So I apologize, guys. I do. I
that's
need to
fine.
I need to be better.
That's be best, Tyson. Be
Be
best. All
better.
Be
right.
Be
best.
better.
Be best.
Oh no, I don't know. It was so weird because like I was telling Jonas the receptionist was like borderline hitting on me. She just kept saying, "Oh my god, you have the best smile and you have the best eyes and I just love your face." And I was just like, is she hitting on me or is she trying to like capture my youth? I don't know. It was very strange.
you
Then
get
the technician was like, "Your gums are really healthy. Your teeth look really great." And then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, by the way, you have 9 cavities." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like my head's spinning a little.
you just get hit on by women all the time wherever you go. This is amazing. Like,
Yep. Yep. Story of my life. I'm gonna
I
write a
mean,
book about it.
I used to get hit by on men when I used to wear the leisure suit all the time, but that's a long time gone. That's over. And I'm fine
Speaking
with
of
that.
that, we're gonna be bringing it back out, maybe, huh? The
Yeah, we
leisure
might.
suit
Yeah, 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 yeah.
to
Might
be
be.
continued.
Yeah, to be continued. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Surprise.
one time I'm sure I've told you guys this, but maybe not on the podcast. One time I was hired to be a Elton John impersonator for a party where they
You
had,
did tell us, I
yeah,
think, Smith and
yeah,
I, maybe offline. Yeah.
yeah. So that was $300 I made pretty easy. That was pretty great. All
I
I had
love
to
it.
do was show up in the thing I normally wore out for gigs. So
I remember telling my mom that, and she was like, "Oh my god, that's such a great idea. Tyson should continue doing that and then also be a Philip Seymour Hoffman impersonator."
oh, good. Yeah, yeah.
I could see that, yeah.
Tom Cruise never showed up in that conversation, but that's all right. All right.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's he was a R.I.P. Great looking guy. He was
He did. He had good hair. I will give you
great
that.
hair. Yeah.
Is that like something you could like hire for a party? Like a feel, like
Yes, and
a
Smith, I would hire you as Jason Bateman. And in fact, I really need you to fly to Colorado to be his character in Ozark because I'm planning on being Ruth Langmore. So we're gonna have to figure that out.
At 2000, around 2002, 2003, that would have netted you $300 plus travel, Matt. So just saying.
Wow. Inflation and yeah, not bad. Not bad. Wow. Yeah. I almost I tried to watch Teen Wolf 2 the other day. I just couldn't do it.
Oh, no
It
way.
just got
Really?
real bad real quick. Yeah. So
Meh, meh.
I made it about 7 minutes in, but I just need to find because I've seen Teen Wolf within the last 10 or 15 years, and I don't know. Teen Wolf 2 was not a great film by any stretch of the imagination, but
No, it was wonderful HBO daytime filler.
absolutely. That was again another one of those HBO shows that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Jason Bateman. Here's where I jump ship, and sorry, this is a weird aside, but gotta be said. So Jason Bateman takes over for the role as Michael J. Fox because Michael J. Fox, I think, like did this like right before Back to the Future just became
Yeah.
like the big thing.
Huge. Yeah.
So needless to say, Michael J. Fox not back for the sequel. So enter Jason Bateman, who I believe was a minor star on Valerie's
Silver?
Family or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
The Hogan family. Yeah, the
the
Hogan
Hogan.
family.
Yeah. Actually, it might have
Mhm.
been before that. Anyway.
Anyway, but here's where I was out: is they also replaced Styles. Now, I don't know who the original actor's name that would have played Style, but I was like, you couldn't get that guy back. You had to replace him with clearly like now at least like they covered for like Jason Bateman and they made him like Michael J. Fox's like cousin in the movie. But like Styles, they just straight up replaced, like like Becky. Like it was just like I. So that's when I was out, about 7 minutes in. Anyway, sorry for that, but
Well, this when they did the screen test, there was just no chemistry between the original Styles and Jason Bateman, so they had to
that's what
replace them.
that's what it
You know,
was.
it just was. The director was like, "No, I know you were great, but no, sorry,
Just
somebody
isn't
calls
it
agent.
isn't working out. Yeah,
No,
no,
it's not. Sorry, buddy."
no. Anyway, that was so. Yeah, I tried. I tried.
Actually,
Now I want to try.
my sister thinks you are just a dead on uh, OG original uh, Dan Aykroyd clone from back in the day. That's what she thinks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, I
Which is
will.
yeah, she that's the
I
big
can see
compliment from
that.
Sally. Yeah, like original, sort of early Saturday Night Live kind of,
Yeah.
you know.
Interesting. Huh.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
I'll have to look. It's been
Early
ages.
Saturday Night Live, Dan. Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
watch. You know what? I need to watch those again because I watched the hell out of those when those were on like Nick at Night or why weren't they on Nick at Night? Like I'm
Yeah,
pretty
like
sure that's
7 to 8 every night on Nick at Night.
yeah. I watched like all. I need to go back and watch there's a torrent out there with like every episode up until like
Jeez.
a year or two ago. I need to grab that and commit to it.
Yep.
2023. It's gonna happen. Yep.
Goals. I like it.
Hey, you guys want to do some
Uh,
headlines?
let's
Yeah.
do
Some headlines.
it. Headline of the week.
Fantastic as always.
I'm so happy that everyone gets to see me react to that every time because I forget every time it's gonna happen.
That's good.
I'll go first. I have three.
Do
I
it.
have four, but I'm gonna save one for next week.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So USA Today, and this is the headline from there. After consecutive losses, Miami Dolphins have removed ping pong tables from their locker room. This was a team decision by the team leaders. They decided they did not deserve to have ping pong if they, since they've lost the last three games. So
Uh
I'm sure that will fix everything. Um, you know,
huh.
somebody,
They're not at camp. They could go home to their mansions and like find
Right.
out about a goddamn ping pong team. Yeah. Oh dear.
I saw somebody posted this in response to the news. It said the Bills have a ping pong leaderboard posted near Mitch Morse's locker. They also have cornhole, bubble hockey, and a basketball rim in the field house. And the Bills are number one. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. But that's yeah. So good luck to you, or not Buffalo, Miami, and the protocols and all that stuff. Um, this is kind of interesting. This is from the Los Angeles Times. Investigation begins after video showing woman in a bikini exiting San Jose fire truck. Um, so I'm just gonna this is the subheadline, the tag. The mayor of San Jose says, "quote Heads must roll," unquote, in an investigation finds wrongdoing in the fire department. So I've actually, if you look this up, you can see the video, and
Uh-huh.
this is not a woman in a bikini. This is a stripper getting out of the fire department and going to work at a strip club. Like she's literally like,
Oh boy.
and I was just like, well, yeah, it was probably a fireman giving his girlfriend a ride to work, because firemen, right? I like that's what I like to think anyway. And so,
They're
anyway, the
both pole related industries, I guess.
yeah,
Industrially, they're
exactly.
both. You got they both have the poles. Just
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's good. I wish
Yeah.
I had thought of that. Anyway, but yeah, yeah. So the video, if you find it, you'll just see this. It's like nighttime, and you just see this woman in like basically like yeah, she's in stripper gear,
She's
wearing
a
like
stripper.
9-inch heels, and she's walking into a strip club. So it's so good. Whatever. I don't know. I mean, they are public servants, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And then finally. I think this is amazing. I don't know if it's funny or not, but it is certainly interesting. A synthetic brain just crushed into Pong. Did you read
Oh,
about this?
that's cool.
Yeah. So they made a
I think I saw a headline actually. I didn't get
they
into
made
it.
a dish, of neurons, like a pile of neurons, and then they hooked it up as here, I'll just read. A research team has managed to network 800,000 brain cells living in a dish to play a tennis-like arcade classic Pong. Neurons Neurons are the building blocks of the brain and are responsible for sending signals to our brain and receiving inputs from our external world. Some experts are skeptical about the dish brain exhibiting sentience. Anyway, it turns out that they've actually taught mice to play Pong. It's one of the easiest games to learn, interestingly enough. So anyway, I think that's great because it's I like the idea of like a bunch of in the future a bunch of petri dishes playing like Call of Duty online and beating a bunch of 9-year-olds that I can't beat. So I think that's
Dude, I
kind of
sort of,
interesting.
I sort of like, I took personal offense to this story because we were at the Asheville Pinball Museum a couple weeks ago. I think I talked about it on the podcast. Nate, we played
Mhm.
Pong there, which was like it was like this table stand up like modern version of Pong.
Hmm.
Very super cool. It's like one of those sort of like things that I totally want to order from Sky Mall. But which I don't think Sky Mall's a thing anyway. But we were terrible at it. Like both of us were like, oh my god, this is way harder than we remember. And then I read that like this petri dish is a fairly competent player, and I was just very made me sad a little bit. So
Fuck you,
yeah,
Dish.
good work, science. When science hurts your feelings, uh,
Science is a cruel mistress,
it
man.
really,
Yes, it
she
is.
really is. She really is. Uh,
Those are my headlines. Next.
Very nice.
Well done. Well done. Smith?
Yeah, so I actually have one that I'm like super excited. I knew nothing of this until a couple of days ago, and this got published. But there is a sequel to A Christmas Story coming out on HBO Max. I think it's launching in
Wow.
like mid-November, and
Okay.
it's actually bringing back what's his name, Peter Billingsley
Yeah.
as Ralphie. There's a very short and worthless promo up about it, where it
Yeah, I
basically
watched
just
that.
shows like. Did you really? Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
watched
just
it.
basically shows like part of like his face and as an older Ralphie, basically. So
Uh-huh.
I'm super excited. So don't know much about it, but
They
that's
said
just what I.
like 3 or 4 of the original cast are back, including Scott Farkas, who was played by the guy Scott Ost, I think.
That's right.
Uh,
Yeah, from
who
what was that
Titus.
show? Yeah,
Titus.
from Titus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about a
Uh,
fucking career drought.
no
Christmas
kidding,
Story.
right? Yeah. So I'm sure there's lots of people looking forward to this reunion. But no, actually, so there actually was another sequel to A Christmas Story, and I don't remember who did it. It may have been Netflix, or it's been a while, but I think it was either 2012 or 2014 that was
Mhm.
not good.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see that they're doing a proper sequel to one of my favorite movies of all times, regardless of season.
Yeah, it's
I watched it
Me
in
classic.
too.
March. I watched it
Me-
in August. Just it's a great film.
That is a great
Uh,
film.
Second one. This is from Insider. I don't know. It's a website. Business Insider. Sorry, Business Insider. Now they're just going by Insider. They've updated their
Oh,
look
that's
a
it.
little bit. But the House Rules Chair blocked Lauren Boebert's measure under a new rule against lunatics, a new book says. Um, Lowen Boebert, representative from the great state of Colorado, uh, which I think may actually, I can't remember what the status of her race is. I think she actually might have a real challenger this November, hopefully. But anyway, I'll just read the article real quick. House Rules Committee Chair Jim McGovern created a new rule on his committee for people like Lauren Boebert, the gun-toting far-right firebrand from Colorado, new book says. With one of her flurry of nonsensical amendments turned out to be reasonable, McGovern and Massachusetts Democrats blocked it from going from the House floor, and a Republican committee member wanted to know why. The journalist Rand Draper writes in his new book, Weapons of Mass Destruction, da da da. As McGovern would recall, his response was, I have a new rule in the Rules Committee. If you're batshit crazy, you're not getting an amendment, Draper writes. I'm sorry, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. And I'm going down that road, and I'm not going to be a part of any effort to legitimize people who are fucking lunatics. That was his justification for the rule, and a mighty fine justification for the rule, I thought it was.
That's great.
Another quick one, just kind of a cute headline: a Circle K gas stations in Florida will start selling weed
Ah, yeah.
legitimately.
Heard that on NPR this morning. That's awesome.
Yeah, so apparently, and I must have missed this, but the ever progressive state of Florida apparently must have legalized uh, medical cannabis at some point.
I
And
missed it too.
so apparently Circle K is just going to start selling weed like out of Circle K, which is,
That's crazy, actually. To be fair, but makes total sense in
it
Florida and
does.
Yeah.
soon to be everywhere in this country.
Oh,
You'll be able.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for
Yeah,
sure.
you are going to like. Actually, you know what? Convenience store do kind of like make the most sense to be like a legit small dispensary. So
Yeah.
I think you can
might be a
still buy.
move.
I think you can still buy bath salts in convenience stores in Missouri. So I mean,
Shut
yeah.
up.
Well, I mean that's where they
That
were. I mean, I remember seeing bath salts at a convenience
Yeah,
store.
is that for real? Oh
I
my
remember
god.
Matt. I think it was
yeah,
when Matt and I were moving back from Florida. I was like, why the
yeah.
fuck are they selling bath salts in 7-Eleven or wherever the fuck they
Yeah, it
stopped?
was like that, and that was it K2 or whatever, like that fake
The
weed
synthetic.
was that was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that they like would like call like potpourri or whatever, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, they just sold that everywhere for like if you're on like the cutting edge of drug legality, like it's at a gas station, like it
It is.
always has been, like so it totally makes sense. Like
Gas
you still
stations.
see those. Right, you still see like those trucker and fake
Oh
amphetamines,
yeah.
that like with the big
Oh
jars
yeah.
and the
Yep.
Yellow
uh,
jackets. That's my favorite.
the
Yellow
yellow
jacket.
jackets. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Anything that sounds like you wouldn't put in your body normally, they're like, yeah, go try a little yellow jacket. Well, yeah, we were Matt and I were working at the Kansas State Legislature, and there was a guy who was from Wyandotte County who was arguably one of my favorite representatives. Anyway, they were discussing that K2 stuff on the floor, whether they were going to ban it or not. And the
Mhm.
guy goes, "We were listening. I was listening to him. I don't know if you heard this man or not, but he goes, you know what? At the end of the day, whether K2 is sold in my He's like, whether K2 is sold in Kansas or not in Kansas, it doesn't matter. My constituents actually prefer the real thing.
he
And that
did. I
was it.
remember that. Yeah, yeah. I do. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
greatest
It
public
was.
representative ever. I was like,
Yes.
God, that was funny.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Uh,
go ahead.
oh no, it's okay. It's okay. Where were we? Let's see
Where
here.
were we?
Oh yes. Where were we? And finally, we do have to talk about Liz Truss.
Yes, please.
If for those that are unfamiliar, Liz Truss was the new and former prime minister of Great Britain.
She had a
Uh,
great run.
she had a great run, 44
Yeah.
days, or as someone else put it, 4.3 Scaramucci's. Um, yeah,
I
so
love that. That's
yeah,
great.
so the headline I had wasn't great, but like I am just going to say it. I already said it once this evening, but I love British parliamentary politics in the House of
Me
Commons. Like
too.
it is the best. Like just like go fuck yourself. No, you got like, but like nicely, like sort of like with like sort
Yeah.
of framed language, but like
Uh-huh.
but they're making jokes, they're having fun, and it's just chaotic. And anyway, I mean, I don't know what I mean. I think a long story, like I think, is like this is. I think Boris Johnson became prime minister as a couple of years ago. Then she has been prime minister for 44 days. I think
Uh-huh.
what they're struggling with is all these economic, uh, basically shortfalls that are happening in a large part due to Brexit. And also the declining like the British pound is like equal then to the US dollar now, which is insane.
Yeah.
Which
That
is
it's worth.
the first time in like 44 years or
Yeah,
something.
it's
Yeah.
not like when
Mhm.
I lived there briefly. I think it was like $1.50. That's how I did the math in my head. Was a British pound was $1.50. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, she's out. So the the interesting thing is about this, which I guess with this story is apparently Boris Johnson may be back
Oh,
because
shit.
apparently
Is that
the
for real?
yeah, so the MPs, which I think are
Oh
like
my
their
God.
equivalent of representatives, they don't directly elect a prime minister like we elect a president.
Right.
It's basically like an internal, like whoever has the majority, they nominate and then they vote internally, kind of like party leadership here in the United
Hmm.
States.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. It's like a leadership role more than a like presidential role, I guess is a good way to think about it. But but yeah, but apparently he's the favorite right now because like nobody wants the job. Like everybody in the cabinet is like, nope, fuck that noise. I don't want that
Yeah,
job.
no shit.
So it's
Actually,
just
I feel sorry
uh,
for her because she got the job because she said she was going to do this new tax cut and these different
yeah,
things. And so she got the job, and then she was like, "Okay, we're gonna do these cat cuts." And then everybody in the markets were like, "Nope," and they were like, so all the markets dropped because they're like, "This isn't gonna work." And so the whole economy went tits up for 44 days, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and then it was like they're like, "Oh wait, we don't want this." So she fired like couple people that she had underneath her, and then it was just like, yeah.
it was
So I
over.
kind of
Yeah,
I feel bad for her, but I mean, if it's anything like U.S. politics, she's going to have a job at a think tank and she'll be fine. So,
well,
Something, yeah.
actually, she doesn't even have to have a job because sort of an addendum to this story that I read this morning is that prime ministers get like £155,000 a year pension.
really,
So although she served very very briefly, she will
corporate
get
Oh
that
doesn't
my
nice
care about
pension
you.
now
God.
for the rest of her life. So
Holy
Wow.
shit.
yeah, yeah,
We should
Wow.
run.
yeah.
That'd be
That's
a
Really,
hell,
amazing.
be a hell of a
I'll
That
take.
gig,
is
right?
Oh,
crazy
I'll take the
pants.
job. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why not?
oh
That's
so anyway,
hilarious.
so
Didn't
Wow.
so
Boris
it's nice.
Uh,
didn't Boris
no,
Johnson say? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead, Tyson. No, you're good.
Oh, I think the last thing he said was either "I'll be back" or "Hasta la vista, baby." It was the last thing he said before he was fired, or And I think it was "Hasta la vista," but maybe he said "I'll be back," which he
It
might
could
be.
be.
That's
It
crazy.
makes sense. So yeah. So
That's fucking hilarious. Did
yeah.
you guys see what was it, the British tabloid that started a live stream last Friday when they fired the chancellor? And it
No.
was a frame picture of Liz, and then next to it, a head of wet lettuce with googly eyes.
Oh,
And
jeez.
they broadcast this seriously to see which would like decompose first. And the head of
Oh
lettuce, of course,
no.
won.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Real
my
thing.
goodness.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it actually came from a reference to The Economist, which said, because basically whatever, like because the Queen died basically right after she accepted tenure, like the Economist made some reference about how she's roughly had 7 days of power, or roughly the equivalent of the shelf life of a head of lettuce. And so that's where the whole but apparently yes, now the head of lettuce has absolutely outlived her.
Oh my God. All the jokes. I'm here for it. Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to see someone else's like political system. Although
Suck.
it's more cuter chaos, but yeah, at least it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, they're frustrated too.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Oh, the world we live in.
I know.
Amazing. Yeah.
Mm. uh, that was the only other thing I was wanted to talk about, and I didn't have a specific headline, but was Kanye West again was on fire this week with all kinds of stuff, doubling down. And then he ultimately wound up offering to buy Parler.
Yes.
Now, if you're
Yes.
unfamiliar with Parler, Parler was sort of like the original Truth Social. It was sort of like an offshoot of Twitter for right-minded individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's like another right-wing Twitter alternative, and which has been a struggling company. They've not done well, and Kanye shows up and is like, "I'll throw a ton of money at it," and they're all excited about it. So we're gonna have this media trifecta, which I believe Elon Musk tweeted an illustration of. Oh, that guy. So Elon maybe might buy Twitter at some point. Kanye is gonna own, you know, Parler, and now we're gonna have Truth Social, which so
Everyone's gonna go back to Facebook or
I
MySpace. I
don't
don't know.
know. I
It's
don't
Tom's
know.
looking
Let's
pretty
bring
good for
back
MySpace.
MySpace. I would love
Yeah.
that.
I would love to go back to MySpace. Like, it didn't fucking destroy the world. I mean, it made
You
for
write
very
blogs
ugly,
that
a
nobody
lot of
reads.
ugly
It's fine.
pages, but no,
Yeah.
it was much better. There was
Yeah.
no
Angel
feed.
Fire esque ugly pages.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Angel Air. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, memories,
Mm.
Uh,
memories. Good stuff.
did you see? I saw a headline with Kanye West, and he was on some show called something, The Champs or something. And this guy Nore, I don't know, but he was the host, and he was like, they were like, Kanye came on for like 4 hours, and he said a bunch of shit that he's been saying about the Jews and just all this shit. And the guy that hosted the show, one of the guys that hosted the show, got like some flack about it,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, well, why didn't you know, challenge him when he said, like the Jews run the media and they're trying to put you down and all this stuff. And his response was, well, I don't know. I was pretty inebriated at that point in the show, so I don't really remember him saying any of that stuff. And I was like, what kind of show is this? I was like, I need to, like, I was like,
Right.
what kind of amazing excuse is that? I was too drunk to correct my guest for saying something politically incorrect, which I guess is fair, right? Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your show, and he was like, the guy's like, well, we turned the camera on, and they said if we turn the camera off in the first 30 minutes, he'd walk. So they just let him just talk for 30 minutes, and yeah. So anyway, I thought that was pretty great. I mean, I would love for I would love for like Charles Carrault or someone being like, or like Dan Rather being like, well, he did say some shit, and I didn't call him out because I was fucked up on booze. And I didn't. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. Oh,
Oh my
where will it
god.
end? How will it end? I'm excited.
How
It's
will
gonna
it
end.
end?
It's gonna end, but how will it end? I don't know.
Ugh. It's gonna be
No.
bad.
Can we?
I think Pete Davidson's gonna live through this thing though. Like, I
I
was real worried for that dude, but Kanye's got bigger
yeah.
fish to fry now.
Yeah.
Like,
Didn't Kanye threaten Michael Rappaport's life? Like left him a
oh,
voicemail and said he was gonna go DEFCON 3 on his ass?
Oh yeah, DEFCON 3.
oh my
Yeah,
god.
DEFCON yeah, yeah.
good work, buddy.
DEFCON yeah.
Never read a book in your life. I
Uh
believe it.
Oh,
Jesus.
the voicemail is pretty funny if you guys want to hear it.
I
Ugh,
haven't heard it.
I don't
Yeah,
either.
it's pretty crazy.
Ugh.
Love that the
I wonder
Republican
if like,
Party's behind him now. That's great.
oh,
Yeah,
it's
good
great. It's
times.
great.
Yep,
It really
yep,
is. He's
yep. Love,
you're
love
one
Rappaport.
of
it.
us.
Rappaport's still holding on to the, like his cultural relevancy in just
He
various weird
really
ways.
is. He
I
really
know he
is.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that guy. I just had a couple. Grimes says Elon Musk thought she was a simulation that he created. So this is pretty much everywhere. I found it on Cosmopolitan, but apparently Elon Musk believed that his ex-partner Grimes, aka Claire Elise Boucher, which that's the first time I've heard her name, I really thought she was an alien, to be fair, was a simulation that he'd created in his mind. According to this guy, Devin Gordon, who appears in the BBC's new docuseries, also unaware of, The Elon Musk Show, Musk thought that Grimes was his perfect companion, but not real. She told me repeatedly that Musk has this theory about her just not being real because they shared the same common interests. I was like, oh, you found a person that you can identify with. That's called a relationship, Elon. What the fuck? Anyway, it's bizarro.
To be fair, I mean, Elon, that might be a huge problem for Elon. But you're
That's
right.
true.
It's stupid. It's
I
really
mean,
stupid. And didn't she say something along the lines of, "I think I agree with him. I might be a
Yeah,
construct
she
that he
did.
created."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
They're both freaking
No more
nuts.
well,
Yeah.
records. I'm not listening to her shit anymore.
well,
I'm
you
not either. I think I'm officially done with
yeah,
Grimes
I think I
Tuesdays.
can be. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still listen to a couple pedos, but nope, grind. You're right. Sorry.
Grimes, you're-
Sorry.
Oh God.
I heard it. I can't remember. God, I wish I could remember his name. I heard a great joke, and he was like, anyway, this was his statement. He's like, I wonder why there's not any women uh, pedophiliacs. What is it? Pedophilia? Pedos.
Pedophile.
Just pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I wonder why there's not any women pedophile or women that are identified as women pedophiles. He's like, probably because they can make their own children to abuse.
Ooh.
I was like, whoa, okay.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's
Actually, in the joke, it was
Uh,
perfect, though. It's pretty funny.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Good grief.
uh,
Oh my God. Wow.
uh,
I just need to sit with that for a minute.
uh,
No, my last headline I just found was an interesting story. I don't know if you guys read this, but after Angela Lansbury passed away, RIP, there was this crazy story that came out about her relocating her family to Ireland and the reason behind it. Did you guys happen to
Mm-mm.
come across that?
Uh-uh.
So apparently, when she was living out in LA, her daughter started to date this guy who, as she put it, was like a bum, and he kept making her do things and get into drugs and all of this stuff. And so she turns out this guy that was doing all of this, fucking Charles Manson. She ended up moving her entire family to Ireland to
Wow.
get away from Manson.
wow.
Well, good for her, I guess.
I know.
That doesn't seem like that reasonable until you hear the guy.
Until you're, yeah, it's fucking Charles Manson.
Wow.
Yeah. Good on you, girl. Damn.
Holy
Yeah.
crap,
It's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
He's nuts.
But I would highly recommend reading the full story on that. It's very creepy and interesting. So
Yeah.
way to go, Angela.
Yeah.
RIP. Yep.
Points to her.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. That's all I have.
That's it.
Yeah. I had some spooky stuff, but we'll save that.
Saving it for
Well,
next week.
save that
Yeah.
for our holiday episode.
Yeah. That Smith is so thrilled to.
What is Hal? Is it no, I'm excited. I'm
Okay.
moderate.
We're gonna do it early. We're gonna do it next week. But Halloween's on what, a Monday?
It's next
Officially?
Monday. It's not next Monday, but it's the following Monday. I know
Okay,
because that's
okay.
that's when the breast surgery is. So we're gonna be
Yeah.
at the hospital for
Oh,
that.
okay.
Beth is gonna dress as a patient. I think I've covered all this. Anyway. Yeah. So we need to do it next week. Just a heads
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
Well,
So stay tuned for that,
we'll do
kiddos.
some Halloween themed antics.
There you go. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Our patented antics.
We'll get you into the spirit. What about that? We're gonna get you into the spirit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make any definitive promises except for that.
We're gonna haunted
We'll be
Bible
your
it up in this bitch.
Halloween
Oh, we
fluffer.
are
Yeah.
gonna haunted Bible it up. Yes.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, great, guys. Perfect.
I love it. I'm looking for on eBay right now.
enough.
You want to do plugs?
Yeah, let's do some plugs. Ready?
Hey, Halloween chili your idea.
I know.
You, the ice cream
Secrets.
manufacturer. You, the frozen food distributor. And you, the food retailer. Stand today in the midst of a selling revolution. For today, you're in a merchandising era of self-service, where display and accessibility are the key to successful merchandising. Yes, today's problem is merchandising. To sell in high volume for high profits, frozen products are impulse items. And impulse buying is primarily emotional decision.
That's a timpani, everyone. Yeah. So I don't really have a lot. I have a plug, but I'm going to save it for next week because it's kind of Halloween themed. But I have 2 plugs. I got a book this week. It's called Clammy Dick by Herman Clamville, and this was put out. This is a book put out by Cards Against Humanity. They have a new product called Clamonaise. You can buy um, a like a mayo slash clam type ketchup
Like a
type.
condiment
Yeah,
that
it's a
has
condiment.
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, what they did was they put out a bunch of stuff, but one of the things they did was they took Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and they went in and just replaced any word they could, or combined any word they could, and put in mayo or clam. So this is what it says on the back of the book. It says, "Call me Ishmael." With with those 3 words, Herman Clamville changed the face of Clamerican literature forever. Rediscover his 1851 masterwork in this new edition and relive the adventures of Captain Clambo and the crew of the SS Clam Slammer as they sail the Great Chowder in search of Clammy Dick.
Oh
Sorry.
my god.
So I'm going to give this to my sister, and I'm going to have her give it to her kids for lit class in high school.
Very good.
The other thing I wanted to plug, it's not even a plug. It's an anti-plug. I accidentally stumbled across a movie called My Son Hunter, which is
Mhm.
the biography of Hunter Biden.
Oh boy. Oh
And
boy.
it was directed by Robert Davi, who you may remember from such movies as he was in Die Hard. He was in.
Oh my god.
He always plays a heavy in these things. I think he
Yeah.
was one of the cops in the helicopter, one of the Roberts. Anyway,
He was in the Goonies. He was
he was
one
in
of
the
the
Goonies.
Fratelli brothers
He
on the
was one of the
Goonies.
Fratellis. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he
No
directed this.
shit.
I will say the direction wasn't bad. I will also say that I could not last more than 10 minutes in this movie. It was so fucking terrible. Um,
Oh boy.
and I mean, I love terrible movies, but it was boring and
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
stopped watching, but I did a little research after I stopped watching, and I found this article, and I thought I'm just going to read this real fast. This is from Rolling Stone, September 7th, 2022. 25 gut reactions to quote my son Hunter unquote the very MAGA and wildly boring Biden family biopic. All right, this is basically a play-by-play of what he was seeing. Now you'll have to forgive me because it's behind a paywall, so I have to use my little trick with paywalls. Are you guys familiar with this little trick that I use?
12-foot wall.
Um, yes, 12-foot wall.
Don't pay for
Are you
nothing.
familiar?
Nothing.
That's right. It's 12-foot ladder technically, but
12-foot ladder. I'm
uh,
sorry. Yeah.
yes. A lot of places have found out about it, and all you have to do is stop using it. Is you just have to email and be like, "Don't use that," and they'll be like, "Okay, I'm stopping." But your Rolling Stone hasn't figured that out yet. So, all right, I'm gonna read some of these. I'm gonna read all of them. Okay, this is number one. They made Joe way shorter and buffer than he should be. A BLM protester saying, "I think I got a viral video. I'm gonna trend," is just Oscar level dialogue. Not even 8 minutes in, and we've already had extremely forced callouts on BLM student loans and pronouns. From the BLM protest to the strip club, Hunter and his new stripper friend are taking a drive from the Chateau Marmot on Skid Row just for funsies to buy more crack. She's a stripper with a heart of gold, and they both have daddy issues. She can fix him. The writing may be cringe, but having an extended segment on all his dead relatives just makes Hunter look more sympathetic. Which I did watch up through that point. We've watched the I slept with my dead brother's wife portion of the film. That's about where I stopped. There are 20. There are I think what there are 15 more of these things. So if you really want to punish yourself, and you should watch My Friend or My Son Hunter. It's stupid. And that is
What
that is
what streaming
Yeah,
service
where do
might
we
we?
watch it, Tice?
Where did I find that at? I will. You guys go ahead, and
You'll update us. All right.
I'll
Okay.
figure out where you
All
can
right.
see this. I
Perfect.
assume on a YouTube near you, but
I'm sure that's probably very true.
Yeah.
Uh, I also just had one plug this week, and it was something that I've been meaning to watch for a long time, and it's relevant because I think new episodes just came out or just started last week or this week. It's the Vow on HBO Max
I did see that.
about the Nixium. Is that how you say it?
Nexium.
yeah.
Nexium. I don't want to have a shampoo company sue me. So but it's nuts. Like I didn't know a whole lot about it, like, but it is because like
It's crazy.
if you don't know the story, I don't want to give it like it is one of those things. Like I think the less, and this is the case, I think for a lot of documentaries, like really the less you know, the better. Like if
Yeah.
like I really think it's a sort of, but in very vague terms, it's about this sort of group called Nexium, which is sort of like and there's like some technique they use, like there's an acronym like SE something, like professional services something, but basically they promote themselves as kind of like a, like a self wellness kind of, where you kind of like a Tony Robbins kind of experience where it's like all
Yeah.
about like, being a better you and self improvement, very kind of new agey. Um, and then shit gets real weird. And so highly recommend it. It is a bit of a commitment. I expected to be like 2 or 3 episodes. I think it's like 9 episodes in the first season,
Excellent.
but it's
Yeah.
really good. And the first episode is out is was out this week, so I have not watched it yet.
I haven't watched it either.
Really, really good. There's several other documentaries about the same thing, so I may keep an eye on this one because I don't think
I would
there's.
say Smith because I've watched one of those other documentaries. This is the best one.
Is it okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's excellent. It was very,
Yeah.
very well
Very
done.
thorough. Yeah.
And again, one of those things which I love documentaries that are like the benefit of circumstance, where like they just happen. Like this was not like they're taking a lot of this footage, contemporaneous to like when it wasn't a big story, like back in like So it's really, really neat that they have all this original footage, sort of as
Yeah.
this sort of scandal is building, and you get people to sort of start talking and go public about what's actually really going on. And yeah, some nutty stuff. But Tyson, I will say, it always reminded me of and I don't know if you've ever been privy to this conversation Tyson I've had a couple times about and Tyson introduced me to this philosophy about like the ponytail guy. Everybody, like every girl like has to like date like a
one
ponytail guy
one
just
I
at
once.
least.
haven't heard this theory in years, but I have heard this.
But
It's
that's what
amazing.
this reminded me of, is this like guy, like he didn't have a ponytail, but he was a ponytail guy, and it just reminded me of
He wore
that.
a ponytail a couple times, Keith Raniere, that piece of shit. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave that. But yeah, the Vow, good stuff. Good stuff. Sad, but
I'll
good.
second that. Yeah.
I should have written a book. I think I remember half the shit.
You really, Tice, get on it. I mean, it's so true. It's so true. Oh my God.
What now?
No
What's that?
unplugged, Smith?
What's that on?
HBO
HBO.
Max. Yeah,
HBO Max. Okay.
HBO Max. Yes. So
Is that the one with
yeah,
the girl that was like on the Smallville show? She got sucked into
Yeah.
that thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Allison
Allison
Mack.
Mackey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Allison, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and she like,
Oh, that story is
yeah.
And
completely
the girl that
bananas.
I
Yeah.
think the girl that played Lois Lane, or no, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
There
Anyway,
was a
yeah.
girl in it too from Battlestar Galactica, which I
Oh,
think is more prevalent in the second season of this
Lebanon.
documentary.
It's a Lebanon.
Guys, God damn it. One of
Sorry.
these days you'll get his name right.
Leibowitz.
Leibowitz, yay, that's a good one. I like that. That's sticking. All right, so I have a couple of plugs and then I have a couple of unplugs. The first plug, actually, I have one unplug. I'll save the other one for next week. I feel like it's more relevant for that. there are a lot of new albums that came out again this last week. From Sparta, Cosmos 70. I don't know if you guys have listened to them. They're like really cool fucking
Mm-mm.
French band. Check it out. And then I may be butchering this name, Fujiya and Miyagi. You
Oh
guys listen to
yeah,
them? They put
yeah.
out a new album. I haven't listened, in fairness, I haven't listened to the full album. I listened to the other two, but it's all good. Like it's all gravy. I'm really excited about all the new music that's coming out. And then one of my friends just texted me a recipe. Thank you. Um, I'm so almost 40. So sad. Um, Christ. All right. And then there is,
Welcome to
I
the
know
club.
you guys hate when I plug another podcast, but it was a good episode, so I'm going to. Sorry. Uh, there is a podcast episode of WTF recently with Mark Maron, where he interviewed Sigourney Weaver. And it's really fascinating. Like, if you love her, you love Alien, you love Avatar, like, she drops lots of really fun inside stories from, you know, pre-production to post-production of both of those films, and a little bit about Ghostbusters, which was pretty fascinating. She's super smart, really funny. Yeah, I loved it. So check it out. And then the unplug is Robbie Coltrane, Scottish actor who played Hagrid in the Harry Potter movies, died at 72. So that bummed me out. Not cool. Universe,
I,
come on.
I was convinced that I had to look it up, that he was also a musician, because there's a guitar player I thought named Robbie Coltrane, and maybe there is, but he's not that guy. And it said
I
that he
mean,
took
it
the
sounds
name
like a
Colt.
musician's name.
Well, John Coltrane was the
That's
Mhm.
sax.
the
Yeah,
yeah.
he
Yeah.
took his name, his last name, as his stage name. So there is a connection
Oh,
there
interesting.
Oh,
musically,
Okay, interesting. Huh.
okay.
because that wasn't his original name. But for some reason, I thought he was like in the band or something like that. I'm sure it's somebody else. But anyway, good story, Tyson. R&P, R&P, Mr. Coltrane.
R.I.P.
R&P. That's it. Moving the other one to next week.
All right.
All right, I like this. I'm already got a head up on next week.
I know I've been so prepared for the upcoming week. This is crazy.
It's
Way to
gonna be
go,
great.
us.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
always a pleasure. Tyson,
Absolutely.
keep us posted with all of the things.
I
Yes.
will. I'm gonna try to get better lighting in here. I feel like I look very pink in here, so I'm sure I do. I'm kind of a pink person in general, but I'm gonna try to figure out something. Anyway, that could have been discussed off air. Anyway,
Oh,
that's
wait,
it.
you don't have a ring light too that washes out your
I have this.
bags under your eyes? Ooh,
Look at
nice.
this.
I like it.
Here. My impression is like, where were you the night of the 15th? That's just for you YouTube watchers.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. Only you get our sight gags. All the more reason to watch.
I'm doing the laugh that Rick hates. Sorry, Rick. Oh, God damn it. All right.
All right,
On
gang.
that note, I got to go cry a little. Okay, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See if I can do this.